Good evening, I'm Shane Jones, leading the news at 7. Prime Minister Frendel Stuart has told the full meeting of the Social to give the National Social Responsibility Levy time to work. He says this had previously been suggested to the trade union movement. According to Mr. Stuart, the levy should be given at least 3 months before its performance is reviewed.
Discussions will be taking place as has been agreed by the Director of Finance and Economic Affairs in response to our request on the levy and perhaps alternatives to it, because after all this time, no alternatives to the levy, no alternatives to the raising of the revenue needed to deal with the government's critical deficit challenges. No alternatives have been put on the table. Certainly none that we feel or find easy to understand or to digest.
The Prime Minister also used the occasion to call on those in positions of influence to stop bashing the island. He says there is a lot of negative portrayal of Barbados which is simply not true.
Yet, growth has returned to the economy. Yet, unemployment has been coming down. Yet, we'll be moving towards a primary surplus. But yet, I'm still hearing that all the policies have failed. It's just not true. We must stop the purveying of this alarmism in Barbados, this spreading of alarm and despondency. I don't know how many Barbadians, and I'm very glad this thing is being televised, because I don't know how Barbadians out there living in the most modest circumstances can identify with a projection of the Barbadian image as that of people who are living hand-to-mouth, who can't get their hands up to their mouths or something like that. That is just not Barbados.
The National Social Responsibility Levy was the main topic of discussion when the much-anticipated social partnership meeting got underway at the Hilton Barbados this morning. Members of the private sector and trade unions outlined their positions on the tax, which one trade unionist described as the straw that broke the camel's back. Lisa Broom will unfold the report.
Both the private sector and trade unions came to the social partnership meeting with a few in mind. They wanted to get government to see why the National Social Responsibility Levy should be lowered, if not eliminated altogether, and to get a fuller understanding of the island's economic picture. On cutting or eliminating the contentious tax, General Secretary of the National Union of Workers, Rosalind Smith, suggested lowering the NSRL to 5% and implementing a 5% cess. That way, she says, government would get its stake at the Bridgetown port, which is one of the most assured ways of tax collection. Ms. Smith also made a case for more efficient collection of the value-added tax, even if government has to bring back retired customs officers to do the job.
And we can look at it to run over the next 7 months. I believe that the bet in a gaming levy should be brought back under the Customs and Excise Department so that they can collect the revenue. And that the NRSL should put on hold given the collection of the revenue from the VAT. And we know that once the VAT is collected, it will solve our problems.
In an earlier presentation, General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Tony Moore, argued for an ease in the levy between 6 to 8 weeks while the discussions on alternative measures take place. She says this morning's social partnership meeting should be the first in a series on the way forward.
The unions are very concerned with not having this as the start of an open-ended talk, but to have us agree on a time frame within which we must address the issues that we regard are causing us to slide further and further down.
And President of the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Eddie Abed, is questioning why the recommendations submitted by two working committees of the social partnership are not integrated into the budget. He's worried that the NSRL could drive the island into recession.
The NSRL has added another layer of cost to doing business in Barbados without increasing productivity or the competitiveness of our country. We are that less competitive now than we were before it was introduced. The NSRL is extremely burdensome tax that will be borne primarily by those at the lower end of the scale, where disposable income is less, Prime Minister.
And another suggestion put on the table by the NUPW's Akani McDowell was a coping mechanism to allow public servants to deal with the additional taxes. He says ideally the mechanism would remain in place until salary negotiations are concluded. Now, according to Mr. McDowell, it would cost government about $68.3 million, which it would recoup in income tax and VAT. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
Thanks, Lisa. Prime Minister Frundle Stewart has praised the National Cultural Foundation for its work in making 2017 crop over season a success. His comments came at last evening's crop over reception held at Ilaro Court. Several locals and international dignitaries, including former Attorney General of the United States Eric Holder, attended the event. Along with the NCF, Mr. Stewart also hailed the Culture Minister, Stephen Lashley, for his contributions to the Sweetest Summer Festival.
None of this, though, could have been possible without, as I said, the leadership of the National Cultural Foundation under the leadership of Mr. Cranston Brown, the CEO, and of course the chairman and the board, Ms. Maureen Graham and her board. And I do not think that we would have done justice to tonight if we did not, in addition to congratulating them, congratulate also the Minister of Culture, the Honorable Stephen Lashley, and the Ministry of Culture for the great work they have done.
Transport Minister Michael Lashley says the amended Road Traffic Act is in the final stages of drafting. He was speaking at a town hall meeting organized by residents of Westmoreland, St. James, and surrounding areas. Minister Lashley was responding to criticism of MP for the area, Edmund Hinkson, who said the amended act was taking too long to come to fruition. Mr. Lashley says one of the peculiar areas that had to be addressed was the high number of fake license plates that are in circulation. The amendment in the act now makes both the manufacturer and the vehicle owner take on certain responsibilities.
He has to produce certain relevant documents to the manufacturer. If that is not done, then the responsibility lies also at him and the manufacturer. So, suffice it, let me say in a nutshell that the Road Traffic Act have just signed off on the final amendments and it's gone to the AG chambers for the AG certificate. Once that is done, then it goes on to cabinet and it goes on to the parliamentary agenda. So if we've actually passed all the major hurdles, some provisions in there that never existed in the Road Traffic Act before.
There's been yet another shooting incident, this time in the city. As a result of the gunplay, two people, a man and a woman, nursing injuries after being shot this afternoon at the Fairchild Street Market. The 14-year-old was hit by a stray bullet in her leg. Police quickly converged at the scene, along with ambulance personnel, and she was transported to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital for treatment. Eyewitnesses say the man suddenly ran into the bus terminal to escape the gunman. Public Relations Officer Acting Inspector Roland Cobbler confirmed the incident, saying it occurred at about 3:45 in the afternoon. Fearful for their lives, he said stall owners and those who frequent the area fled screaming, running and behind stalls. A number of bloodstains were also spotted from the market into the terminal. The man, who is said to be in his 30s, transported himself to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. One person who spoke to CBC News off camera says it was a scary experience.
All I would say is ever who the gunman is to desist from this, because they are not the cowards. If they got a dispute to settle with a man, see the man and give the man a couple of things, dispute, and then need for the arms. You understand? That's what we used to do in young days. fist fights.
Lawmen are asking anyone with information to come forward. This shooting incident comes just 4 days after a man was killed and over 20 others injured in a shooting incident on the Spring Garden Highway as Grand Kadooment climaxed. All right, we'll take a short break here and come back with more news.
We listened to what you had to say and tore up the old rules because losing what you paid for is just wrong. Now lost data and talk are of the past. Only Digicel gives you unlimited rollover data and talk. Just buy and renew your Quick Pick bundle before it expires and keep what's rightfully yours. Never lose what you don't use. Go to My App to bundle up and roll over today. Digicel.
The main events of October 2017 may be over, but the feeling still remains. The hits, the winner, and more. Joey Admiral, HD, and Wayne Cool live this Friday from 9:03 p.m. as they close the stage for another year. That's Festival Stage this Friday from 9:03 p.m. till 10:30 p.m. Don't miss it.
Hansel Limited is advising its customers and the general public that its supplier Hypack Limited has announced a voluntary recall of its 300-gram Eve luncheon meat and 300-gram Eve chicken luncheon meat. Both types of luncheon meat have a best before date range of June 26 and July 25, 2019. The voluntary recall is due to a possible defect in the package that could lead to potential spoilage. Both Hansel and Hypack Limited have given the assurance that all steps will be taken to remove the product from the shelves. The products will be returned to the distributor for destruction under the supervision of the relevant authorities. There have been no reports of illness associated with the product to date. After 5 engaging, educational, and rewarding weeks, the participants of the inaugural Safe Zone Summer Camp program received their certificates of participation at the official closing ceremony this afternoon at the Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic. SAFE stands for Shaping Adolescents to Function in Their Environment. The camp was organized by the Supporting Our Society charity for children 11 to 16 years, covering areas of public speaking, drug awareness, nutrition, self-esteem, and leadership, among others. President Fabian Sargent says even though the 2017 program is over, the focus is to continue to engage the participants until next summer.
It is not every week, it is not every month, but at least once a quarter that we bring them back home, because one of the issues we have in Barbados with program is follow-up. We do not follow up, and another one is evaluation and monitoring. So these participants from this year will definitely be part of our follow-up process, our evaluation process, and our monitoring process. So that next year, we probably can see those persons who will move from where they are at now to a better place.
Keynote Speaker Magistrate Doug Frederick urged participants to pay special attention to their training, especially in the area of public speaking.
You are now better equipped to be able to speak in public. And speaking in public is a very serious advantage that you are given. You may not think that that was an advantage, but most of you are now going to secondary school or about to go to secondary school. And sometimes there will be disputes at school between yourself and others, and you will have to represent yourself. And you would have to use of this speaking to express yourself, to be able to articulate, to be able to put over your positions.
Barbados foreign reserves remain below the international benchmark of 12% of imports. Central Bank Governor Clevinston Haynes has indicated that Barbados has $635.5 million in reserves, or 9.7 weeks of imports, as of the end of June this year. He also believes the island will not return to level that above the international benchmark by year-end.
My current estimate is that we would still be below. I believe that where we would want to be certain end of the fiscal year with the proceeds from the BNTCL and from the Hilton, is that we would be somewhere around the level that we were at at end of March this year. Clearly there is a lot of, because one is not totally sure of the full impact of the, let's say, taxes like the NSRL and what that will do to overall spending. The greater the contraction in spending, then the potential for a larger buildup of reserves. The smaller the impact on spending, then the smaller the impact on our reserves.
Health experts always promote fitness as a healthy lifestyle change. In Camille Jones' feature, we will look at how some use their own body weight to get fit.
Breakdancing, gymnastics, and acrobatics can be very entertaining due to dynamic energy and the precision that is required. But moreover, these feats are workouts in themselves. These individuals use their own body weight exercising, and that's called calisthenics, gymnastic exercises to achieve body fitness and grace of movement. Thornwood, founder of CaliFit 246, says anyone can do calisthenics.
It creates a lot of upper body strength. So someone who's like a paraplegic who doesn't use their legs, their lower half, they will have more of an advantage, obviously, because it's technically a little lighter.
This 25-year-old says there are many options for getting fit, but though he prefers calisthenics, he incorporates them in his fit routine.
We want to prove the idea of ultimate fitness with the best aesthetic you can have. So I find the gym, I can target a better aesthetic than calisthenics, which is like your full V shape and stuff like, but this gives me the muscle efficiency that I want in terms of carrying my body as an acrobat, doing handstands like that, being used to the movement of my body.
With his level of fitness, Mr. Wood entered the Barbados Ninja Throwdown competition and finished in the top 3 in the adult category. He says calisthenics helps with agility.
What calisthenics has over the gym, in my opinion, is the muscle efficiency. I find most guys don't have the muscle efficiency to carry their own weight. They'd be able to lift a lot, but to ask them to do like a fully stretch pull up, come up all the way, lift your chest and stretch your arms all the way down, most of them can't get it done. There are guys who can do it, like things like front levers and stuff like that, which would target your core in a different way.
Mr. Wood says his first interest wasn't calisthenics, but that he happened to fall into it.
I came in the park actually, and I saw some guys flipping and stuff, and I was like, well, I want to learn. And they was like, let's do it. And I was like, I don't know how. And they were like, well, you go out, throw one first, and if you fall, or it's like a trial and error thing.
So it's not surprising that he's a break dancer, and is currently the vice captain for the 2016 Dance Fest winners, the ADL Adrenaline Dancers. Those moves are a bit advanced, but a pretty basic calisthenics routine looks like this, and this is called a front lever. And for a beginner using an elastic band, the body is being conditioned for this exercise. Another exercise that's typical in street workouts is the muscle up.
Up, and I'll do one with the clock, which has a lot more kick, allows me to get some height. That's the front of it. Yeah.
Looks easy, huh? Well, not quite.
Ready? Go up. Take your arm forward. Over. No.
Go, hold the bar.
Hold the bar. Hold the bar. Big elbow. Up. No, come out now. Come out.
After some more guidance, and with the help of the trusty assistance band, we get it done better.
Right there, next one. Right, press all the way up. Press up. Your arm space.
Straighten out.
Straighten them out.
And after advancing from a muscle up, we did what was called a rollover.
Oh, no, not at all. Not this going.
That looks like fun. I can't get that done.
He's good. There you go. Up, press out. Good. Same thing that she did. So we're going to do bend your knees, get your shoulder to my hand, and come right over. Let's go. Hey, you haven't even come again, man. Come again, man. Let's go.
Things went smoothly on Ronaldo's first tee, but not exactly with me.
Wait for you. Here you go. All right. So, we're going to do now. You're going to bend your knees. Keep your weight over the bar. All right? So, bend your knees. Keep it over the bar. Don't lean over. Lean over. I got you. Lean towards me. Come on. Lean. Trust me. Trust me for this one. Yeah? Lean. Keep going. You're fine.
As the saying goes, once you put your mind to it, you can do anything.
Forward. Let's go. Come in. Come on. Come in. You got it. Over.
Although exercise can seem daunting to some, have fun while you work out and don't give up. Kimita Jones, CBC News.
After the break, we'll take a look at stories making headlines across our region.
Enjoy the delicious fruity taste of La Fruta. Fruit ice cream on deck for just $1 Vaddington. Get your mango, guava, and coconut flavors. Now $1 less while stocks last. It's a big summer holiday special. La Fruta fruit ice cream, now only $2. Available at participating outlets island-wide. Byco Mobilers and the Byco Direct Outlet on Harbor Road.
Here comes Asa, inspired by a true story. This series set in 19th century Japan and tells the story of a woman who overcomes adversity to forge a path in the world of business. A heartfelt, humorous drama and romance. Here's Asa, Tuesdays and Saturdays at 6 p.m. on CBC TV 8.
Spend your Sundays with CBC TV 8 to see some of the great sporting moments unfold here in Barbados and on the World 8, the agony of defeat and the joy of victory on Sunday Sports Special. The action starts at 10 a.m. on CBC TV 8.
Starting in St. Lucia, emergency officials and the National Association of Driving Schools are urging partygoers to exercise caution on the roads following mass crowd events. Their concerns come against the background of several serious accidents in recent times.
And what if are among the many things just need to themselves before making certain decisions on the road. This is according to the National Association of Driving Schools, Piero Kingston Jean. He alleges that had the driver of the white station wagon followed these steps, when the collision might have been avoided.
Well, the first thing you have to actually tell you driving, if you really have to indicate overtake, is not is the way ahead and behind me clear. But the first thing you have to ask yourself, is it necessary to overtake? And you'll find that if most times drivers ask themselves, is it necessary to overtake, you'll find out most times it is not even necessary to overtake. Most places you have to get to in St. Lucia is about 15 minutes away from wherever we are. So most is unnecessary. But I'm sure the driver did that yesterday. You'll have found out he's only going up to Babono side. It will take him less than 15 minutes to get anywhere in Babono from Shock. So then he would probably figure, hey, I should not overtake. But then he did. He tried to overtake while another vehicle was overtaken, and a vehicle was coming towards him.
The vehicle veered off the road and dragged for about 140 feet for colliding with a parked trailer, while some may counter that the container trailer was illegally parked in proximity to a no-park sign for tractor trailers. Shaw says the situation could have been much worse. He, however, says this does not absolve the authorities from blame.
Yet, officials passed there throughout the day, and nobody thought that the tractor trailer was moved out of the way. Probably the tractor trailer was not there. Then the guy would have enough speed to continue driving and to come to a controlled stop.
Police in Guyana believe the same thieves who executed a daring robbery weeks ago are responsible for another robbery at the Guyana Power and Light yesterday afternoon.
This mall at Monrepo on the east coast of Demerara has been hit by yet another armed robbery. Thursday afternoon, customers paying their utility bills at this GPL outlet came face to face with 3 gunmen.
When I walk in, it's cramming me, and I pull back and I scream, and it's cramming and pull me in.
Into the store?
Yeah, I said, don't holler, and put me for sit down.
After he
don't move. Them police guy in there at the front holding cash. So when them pull he, well, them bend here and then take the gun hit here his head.
This photograph shows the security guard as he's tied up. His weapon was taken away by gunmen. One eyewitness, who prefers his identity withheld, said that they fired a single shot in his direction while they escaped in a waiting alien motor car.
One with pink cut of the face, one with a mask. As he stepped down, they removed the mask and I see the two of them. But then when I started to see them, then I fired 2 shots in the ears. Then I shot one down near me. And when my cousin, we duck and we run.
Credible sources have all said that the gunmen didn't get much as they smashed this glass open, but some customers and staff had their personal items taken away.
As I opened the door, I saw a guy on the counter on the ground. So I reached to give him assistance. I thought he had fallen. Next thing you know, a guy pulled me in, called me in, tell me come and sit down. I saw 2 guns, 3 men. So they strapped my hands, they told me to lay down on my face. As I lay down on my face, about 3 to 5 minutes later, I making a commotion that somebody outside noticed them, know what's going on. And there is an alarm, and that's when they run out.
Police were hoping to retrieve CCTV footage from these cameras, but as it turns out, they are not functional. Several customers were turned away as the Monreport branch remained closed for the day as investigators from GPL and the police do their work.
We stay in Georgetown, where the financially troubled state-owned sugar company Gaisuco has recorded a Ghana $6.3 billion operating deficit during the first half of this year. According to a mid-year report released by the Ministry of Finance, the revised revenue forecast for the Ghana Sugar Corporation for this year is Ghana $27.1 billion, down from the budgeted $28.9. It said the corporation expects to record increased revenue from land sales, but lower revenue from sugar sales. According to the report, expenditure is forecast to rise to $35.7 billion, putting the deficit at $8.6 billion. Sandals Resorts International says it reserves the right to initiate, including suing for slander and libel, to protect its good name as the war of words continues with the Antigua and Barbuda government. The row between the Gaston Brown government and Sandals began last year when the two were engaged in a public exchange over its retention of sales tax income under what St. John's called an unlawful agreement. Sandals collects an Antigua and Barbuda sales tax from its customers and, according to Prime Minister Brown, keeps 65% of the yields. The government is trying to change this, but Sandals chairman Gordon Butt Stewart is claiming it means the rescinding of a concession agreement with the hotel chain. A peek into the world of sports is just ahead, but before we get there, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the